Sophia Russo had exactly 3 minutes to make it back to the table before her boss noticed she'd been gone long enough to be rude. The bathroom line at Sergio had been ridiculous, and she'd made the split-second decision to cut through the back corridor instead of waiting. She told herself it was fine. Staff-only doors were just suggestions when you wore a $2,000 dress. The wine cellar door was cracked open. That's what made her stop. Not intuition. Not some sixth sense. Just the sliver of warm light spilling across expensive tile and the low murmur of voices speaking Italian, not the polished, textbook kind she'd learned in college, but the kind that came from back alleys in Palermo. She should have kept walking. Instead, Sophia shifted closer, her heels silent on the floor. Through the gap, she saw them, 3 men in suits that probably cost more than her monthly rent. All of them had their backs to her, attention fixed on a 4th man kneeling on the stone floor. His face was bruised. His white shirt was torn. "Please," the kneeling man said. "I have a family. I have." The tallest one, broad shoulders, dark hair, raised his gun with the kind of casual precision that said he'd done this before. "So did he," the man said quietly. The shot cracked through the air. Sophia's phone rang. The sound pierced through everything, her ringtone blaring that's amore because her mother thought she was funny. Every head in that cellar turned. Including the shooters. Sophia's fingers fumbled. She answered without thinking, panic making her stupid. "Pronto?" Her mother's voice burst through, rapid-fire Sicilian. "Sophia, where are you? You said you'd call after dinner." "I made cannoli, your brother ate half of them." "Mama, I can't," Sophia answered in the same dialect, the one she'd spent 10 years trying to scrub from her tongue. The tall man with the gun went completely still. Their eyes met through the gap in the door. His were gray. Not blue-gray or silver, gray like winter clouds, like steel. Cold and sharp and suddenly fixed on her with the kind of focus that made her stomach drop. He moved. Sophia ran. She spun on her heels, her phone still clutched to her ear, her mother's voice still chattering in confusion. The corridor stretched ahead of her, too long, too narrow. Behind her, she heard the cellar door slam open. "Stop her," someone barked. Sophia's heels hit the tile hard. She saw the exit sign ahead, glowing red like salvation. 10 more feet. 5. A hand caught her arm. She was yanked backward, her phone clattering to the ground. A man, thick-necked, scarred knuckles, shoved her against the wall hard enough to knock the air from her lungs. "Let go of me." Sophia twisted, clawing at his grip. "Quiet." The man's other hand went to his jacket. "To the gun there. Luca." The voice came from behind him. Calm. Controlled. The man with gray eyes approached slowly, his own weapon already holstered. Up close, he was younger than she'd thought. Mid-30s maybe. Sharp jaw. Dark hair pushed back like he'd run his hands through it too many times tonight. Blood flecked his white collar. He studied her face for a long moment. "Who are you?" he asked in English. Sophia's mind raced. Corporate lawyer. That's what she was. She negotiated contracts. She wore pencil skirts and argued motions. She didn't get grabbed in back corridors by men who executed people in wine cellars. Nobody, she managed. "I'm nobody. I got lost looking for the bathroom." "You speak Sicilian." It wasn't a question. "I studied abroad," Sophia lied. "I'm a translator. I work for." "No." He stepped closer. Close enough that she could smell his cologne, something expensive and dark. "You don't speak it like a student. You speak it like blood." The word landed between them like a stone. Sophia's heart hammered. "I don't know what you're talking about." The man tilted his head, eyes narrowing. Behind him, 2 others had appeared, both armed, both watching her like wolves deciding if she was prey or threat. "What's your name?" he asked. "Jennifer," she said immediately. "Jennifer Banks. I'm here with my firm. We're entertaining clients. If I don't get back to the table." "You heard Sicilian." He cut through her panic with the precision of a blade. "From inside a closed door. And you opened it." "The door was already open." "And you saw." Sophia swallowed hard. "I didn't see anything." "You saw me kill a man." The words hung in the air between them. "I won't say anything," Sophia said quickly. Desperately. "I swear. I don't know who you are. I don't care. I just want to leave." The man watched her for another endless moment. Then he pulled out his phone and made a call. "Marco. I need a background check. Woman, late 20s. Says her name is Jennifer Banks." A pause. His eyes never left hers. "Send me everything. Now." He hung up. "Here's what's going to happen," he said quietly. "You're going to wait with me. If your story checks out, you walk away. If it doesn't." He let the sentence hang. "You can't just." "I can." His expression didn't change. "Luca, take her to the car." "No." Sophia tried to pull away, but the thick-necked man's grip was iron. "You can't do this. I have rights. I'll scream. I'll scream," the gray-eyed man said. "And I'll put you in the cellar with the man who's already bleeding out. Your choice." Sophia's throat closed. They walked her through a service exit she hadn't known existed. The alley behind the restaurant was dark and narrow, empty except for dumpsters and a sleek black SUV that looked like it cost more than her student loans. Luca opened the back door. "Get in." Sophia's phone buzzed in her clutch, the one she'd somehow managed to grab before they dragged her out. She pulled it free with shaking hands. An unknown number. The message made her blood freeze. "He killed your father. Make him pay." Phone. The gray-eyed man held out his hand. Sophia looked up at him. At this stranger who just executed someone without blinking. Who spoke Italian like authority and wore violence like a second skin. "Who are you?" she whispered. He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Dante Moretti," he said. "And you're about to tell me the truth, Jennifer Banks. Starting with why you really speak Sicilian like a girl from the old families." He gestured to the car. "Get in." Sophia looked at her phone. At the message that changed everything. At the blood still wet on her shoes. She got in. Wanting to see what would happen next, subscribe to this channel to get to listen to more of our upcoming exciting stories. Click on the subscribe button now. Thank you. Chapter 2. The SUV's leather interior smelled like expensive cigars and old money. Sophia sat rigid in the back seat, Dante Moretti beside her, two armed men in front. The city lights blurred past the tinted windows as they drove north, away from Manhattan's glittering core. "Where are we going?" Sophia asked, hating how small her voice sounded. "Somewhere we can talk privately." Dante hadn't looked at her since they'd left the alley. He was scrolling through his phone, reading something that made his jaw tighten. "And somewhere you can't run." Sophia's fingers tightened around her clutch. Inside, her phone buzzed again. She didn't dare check it. They drove for 40 minutes, crossing into territory Sophia only vaguely recognized. The buildings grew sparser, replaced by trees and walls. High walls. Stone and iron, topped with cameras that tracked their approach. When the SUV finally stopped, Sophia's breath caught. The estate sprawled before them, a waterfront compound that looked like something from a magazine. Modern glass and old stone married together, perched on the edge of the river like a crown. Lights blazed from every window. Men in dark suits patrolled the grounds with the efficiency of soldiers. "Welcome to my home," Dante said, climbing out. Sophia didn't move. Dante leaned back in, gray eyes meeting hers. You can walk, or Luca can carry you. Your choice, Miss Banks. Sophia got out. The night air was cold, cutting through her thin dress. She wrapped her arms around herself as they walked toward the main house, heels clicking on cobblestones that probably cost more than her car. Everything about this place screamed money and power and danger. Inside was worse. The foyer soared 2 stories high, all marble and dark wood. Paintings, real ones, the kind she'd only seen in museums, lined the walls. A crystal chandelier cast fractured light across furniture that belonged in Versailles. This way. Dante led her down a corridor, past rooms glimpsed through open doors. A library. A sitting room. What looked like a fully stocked bar. They stopped at a heavy oak door. Dante opened it, gesturing her inside. The office was massive. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the river. A desk that could seat 6 dominated the space, its surface neat except for a laptop and a single glass of scotch. Bookshelves lined one wall, not for show, Sophia noted. These books were worn, red. Sit. Dante pointed to a leather chair facing the desk. Sophia sat. Dante moved behind his desk but didn't sit. He picked up the scotch, took a slow sip, watching her over the rim of the glass. My people are very good at their jobs, he said finally. Within 30 minutes, I'll know everything about Jennifer Banks. Where she lives. Where she works. Where she was born. Every parking ticket. Every credit card charge. He set down the glass. So I'm going to give you one chance to tell me the truth before I find out you've been lying. Sophia's mind raced. She'd built her cover carefully over the years. New name, new history, paper trail scrubbed clean by lawyers who didn't ask questions. But men like Dante Moretti had resources she couldn't imagine. I told you the truth, she said. I'm a translator. I work freelance. I was at the restaurant for a business dinner. What firm? Morrison & Lee. I'm helping them with international contracts. Dante pulled out his phone, typed something, waited. His expression never changed, but Sophia saw the moment the information came through. A slight narrowing of his eyes. A pause. Jennifer Banks, he read aloud. Age 28. Freelance translator based in Manhattan. Speaks Italian, French, Spanish. Graduated from Columbia. He looked up. Very thorough background. Almost too thorough. Sophia's heart hammered. I don't know what you mean. I mean it's perfect. No gaps. No inconsistencies. Like someone very carefully built it. He came around the desk, leaning against the front edge. But you made one mistake tonight. What mistake? The dialect. Dante crossed his arms. You didn't just speak Sicilian. You spoke Corleone Sicilian. A very specific regional variant that hasn't been common outside certain families for 2 generations. His head tilted. How does a Columbia graduate know that? Sophia felt the trap closing. My grandmother. Don't. The word cut like glass. Don't insult my intelligence. I heard how you spoke. Natural. Unconscious. That's not something you learn from a grandmother's bedtime stories. That's blood. The silence stretched between them. Finally, Dante sighed. Here's what I think. I think you're connected. I think you have family in the life. And I think you've been running from it. He studied her face. But tonight, you walked right back in. Question is, why? Because you killed my father, Sophia wanted to scream. Because 5 years ago, someone put 3 bullets in Marco Russo's chest and made it look like a robbery, and I've spent every day since trying to find out who gave the order. But she couldn't say that. Not yet. I got lost, she said instead. That's all. Dante watched her for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly, like he'd made a decision. Okay. Jennifer Banks, freelance translator. He pushed off the desk. Tomorrow morning, I have a meeting. Very important. Very delicate. With men who trust nobody and speak a Calabrian dialect so old-fashioned that most modern Italians can't understand it. I need someone who can interpret. Someone who understands not just the words, but the implications. The history. The weight behind every phrase. Sophia stared at him. You want me to work for you? 1 week, Dante said. You translate for my meetings. You live here, under guard. You do exactly what I say. At the end of the week, if you've been useful, you walk away. Clean. No questions. And if I refuse? Dante's smile was cold. Then I keep digging into Jennifer Banks until I find out who she really is. And when I find out she's lying to me, and I will find out, I'll make sure she regrets it. It wasn't a choice. It was an execution postponed. Fine, Sophia said. 1 week. Good. Dante moved to the door, opened it. Luca waited outside. Show Miss Banks to the guest suite. 3rd floor. Make sure she has everything she needs. What about my things? My apartment. We'll send someone. Dante's tone said the discussion was over. Get some rest. The Calabrians arrive at 9. The guest suite was bigger than Sophia's entire apartment. King bed with silk sheets. Marble bathroom with a tub that could fit 3 people. A walk-in closet already stocked with clothes in her exact size, designer labels, still tagged. Sophia stood in the middle of it all, shaking. Her phone buzzed. She pulled it out with trembling fingers. 3 new messages from the unknown number. You're inside. Good. Moretti trusts nobody. Find proof he ordered the hit. Don't make contact. I'll reach out when it's time. Sophia stared at the messages until her vision blurred. Someone was helping her. Someone who knew she was Marco Russo's daughter. Someone who wanted Dante Moretti to pay as much as she did. But who? She deleted the messages, then walked to the window. The compound stretched below, walls, guards, cameras. A fortress disguised as a home. And somewhere in this fortress was the man who'd killed her father. Sophia pressed her palm against the cold glass. 1 week, she thought. 1 week to find the truth. Morning came too fast. Sophia woke to a knock on her door and a maid bringing breakfast, coffee, pastries, fresh fruit arranged like art. The clothes in the closet fit perfectly, tailored pants, silk blouse, low heels. Professional but expensive. Someone had been watching her long before last night. At 8:45, Luca appeared to escort her downstairs. The meeting room was on the 1st floor, windowed walls overlooking the water. A long table dominated the space, already set with glasses, bottled water, notepads. Dante stood at the head, speaking quietly with 2 other men Sophia didn't recognize. He looked different in daylight. Still dangerous, still controlled, but there was something else now. Tired, maybe. Like he carried weight nobody else could see. He saw her and nodded. Miss Banks. Thank you for joining us. Did I have a choice? Sophia asked quietly. His lips twitched. No. But I appreciate the illusion of cooperation. He gestured to a chair beside him. Sit here. The Calabrians will sit across. Your job is simple, translate everything accurately. Don't editorialize. Don't interpret meaning. Just words. Understand? Sophia nodded. Good. Dante checked his watch. They'll be here in. The door opened. 3 men entered. All older, late 50s or 60s, with the kind of weathered faces that spoke of hard lives and harder decisions. They wore suits that looked expensive but old-fashioned, like they'd been made in a different decade. The lead man's eyes found Dante. He didn't smile. Moretti. The word was clipped. Cold. Don Caruso. Dante's voice warmed, but Sophia heard the effort behind it. Welcome. Please, sit. The Calabrians sat. They looked at Sophia with open suspicion. Who is this? Caruso asked in Italian, but not standard Italian. The thick, rolling dialect Sophia recognized from her father's oldest friends. The ones who'd immigrated young and never fully adapted. My interpreter, Dante replied smoothly in the same dialect. Miss Banks. She'll ensure we understand each other perfectly. Caruso's eyes narrowed. We don't know her. You know me, Dante said. That should be enough. The old man grunted. Not agreement. Not disagreement. Just acknowledgement. The meeting began. For the first 20 minutes, Sophia translated mechanically. Port access. Shipping routes. Percentages and territories. Standard business wrapped in careful language. Then Caruso leaned forward. We hear things, he said in Calabrian. Rumors. That your house is divided. That your uncle's sons question your authority. That blood has been spilled over succession. Dante's expression didn't change. My house is united. Is it? Caruso's smile was thin. Because a house divided cannot stand. And we cannot do business with a house that might collapse tomorrow. This was the moment. The test. Sophia saw it in the way Dante's jaw tightened. In the way his fingers drummed once against the table before going still. This meeting wasn't about shipping routes. It was about proving strength. And she could help him. Or she could hurt him. Don Caruso says he's heard rumors, Sophia translated to English. Then she paused, choosing her next words carefully. That your leadership is uncertain. That others in your family may have stronger claims. It was subtle. A slight shift in meaning. Question your authority became uncertain. Blood has been spilled became stronger claims. Softening the challenge. Making it sound less aggressive. Dante's response was immediate. Tell Don Caruso that rumors are for women and cowards. My leadership is absolute. Any who doubt it are welcome to test me directly. Sophia translated back to Calabrian, but again, she adjusted. Instead of absolute, she used a word that meant unquestioned by most. Instead of test me, she said speak with me. Small changes. Tiny. But enough to make Dante sound slightly less threatening. Slightly more uncertain. The meeting continued for another hour. Sophia kept making her small adjustments, each one barely noticeable. Shaving confidence here. Adding doubt there. By the time the Calabrians left, Caruso looked satisfied. Like he'd found what he'd come looking for. Dante walked them out personally, all charm and strength. But when he returned to the meeting room, his eyes found Sophia immediately. That went well, he said softly. Thank you. Sophia nodded, her stomach twisting with guilt and triumph. Of course. She didn't see Dante again until dinner. The dining room was formal, long table, crystal, china that probably cost more than her law degree. Dante sat at the head, Sophia 6 seats down. Several other men filled the remaining chairs. Soldiers, she guessed. Advisors. They ate in relative silence, the men occasionally speaking in low voices about business Sophia pretended not to understand. Halfway through the meal, Dante's phone rang. He glanced at it, frowned, and excused himself. Sophia kept eating, aware of the eyes on her. She was an outsider here. A stranger. These men would kill her without hesitation if Dante gave the word. 20 minutes later, Dante returned. His face was carved from stone. He sat down, picked up his wine, and his eyes found Sophia's across the table. "Miss Banks," he said quietly. "I need a word. Privately." Sophia's blood went cold. She followed him back to his office. He closed the door, locked it, and turned to face her. "I record all my meetings," he said without preamble. "Standard practice. And I have someone who speaks Calabrian, a cousin who grew up in Reggio. Just to verify important translations." He pulled out his phone, set it on the desk between them. "Would you like to know what he told me about this morning's meeting?" Sophia couldn't breathe. "He said you changed things. Small things. Subtle. You made me sound weaker. Made my position sound less secure." Dante's voice was silk over steel. "You deliberately mistranslated to undermine me. There was no point denying it." Sophia lifted her chin. "Are you going to kill me?" "I should." Dante moved closer. "I should put a bullet in your head and dump you in the river. That's what anyone else would do. But you won't." "No." He stopped inches from her. "Because I want to know why. You're smart enough to know I'd catch you eventually. You're careful enough to make it subtle. Which means you wanted to help my enemies, but not enough to start a war." His eyes searched hers. "So I'll ask you once, who sent you?" Sophia opened her mouth to answer. The world exploded. The windows shattered inward, glass and gunfire erupting simultaneously. Sophia hit the ground as bullets tore through the office, punching holes in walls, splintering wood. Dante grabbed her, hauled her behind the desk. "Stay down." More gunfire. Shouting from outside. The compound's alarms began screaming. "What's happening?" Sophia gasped. "Betrayal." Dante pulled a gun from his desk drawer, checking the magazine with practiced efficiency. "Someone inside gave them access. They're hitting us now while the Calabrians are still close enough to blame." The office door burst open. Luca appeared, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. "Boss, we need to move. They're in the south wing. 6, maybe 8 men. How did they get past the walls?" "Someone shut down the cameras. Someone who knew the codes." Luca's face was grim. "It's internal." Dante swore viciously in Italian. Then his eyes found Sophia. "Can you run in those shoes?" "Yes." "Then stay close." He moved toward the door, gun raised. "There's a tunnel system under the house. Prohibition era. It comes out near the water. We go down, we go fast, we don't stop." They ran. The hallway was chaos. Men shouting, guns firing, smoke beginning to fill the air. Dante moved through it like he'd done this before, Luca at his back, Sophia between them. They reached a door hidden behind a bookshelf. Dante yanked it open, revealing stone steps descending into darkness. "Go," he ordered. They went down. The air grew cold and damp. The tunnel was narrow, carved from rock, lit by emergency lights that flickered yellow. Water dripped somewhere in the distance. Behind them, footsteps echoed. "They're following," Luca said. Dante didn't slow. They ran deeper into the tunnel system, turning left, then right, then left again. Sophia's lungs burned. Her heels caught on uneven stone. The tunnel opened into a larger chamber. 3 passages branched off. "Which way?" Luca asked. Dante hesitated. Just for a second. The gunman appeared from the left passage. He raised his weapon, finger on the trigger, aiming at Dante's head. Sophia moved. She didn't think. Didn't plan. Her body just knew. She grabbed Dante's arm, yanked him sideways, and dropped low. Her leg swept out, a move her father had taught her when she was 12, when he'd still thought she might need to protect herself from his enemies. The gunman's feet went out from under him. He fell hard, his gun clattering away. Sophia was on him before he could recover. She grabbed his head, twisted sharply. The crack echoed through the chamber. Silence. Sophia stood slowly, breathing hard, staring down at the body. When she looked up, both Dante and Luca were staring at her. Jesus Christ, Luca breathed. Dante's expression was unreadable. He looked at the dead man. At Sophia. At the way she stood, balanced, controlled, ready. Then he moved. Fast. He crossed the distance between them and slammed her against the tunnel wall, his body pinning hers, his forearm across her throat. Not choking. Just holding. You're not a translator, he said quietly. Dangerously. That move. That kill. That's professional training. Military. Maybe more. His eyes bored into hers. So let's start with the truth. Whose daughter are you? Sophia stared back at him. At this man who might have killed her father. Who'd just watched her kill to save his life. The weight of 5 years of lies pressed down on her chest. Sophia Russo, she whispered. My name is Sophia Russo. And you knew my father. Wanting to see what would happen next, subscribe to this channel to get to listen to more of our upcoming exciting stories. Click on the subscribe button now. Thank you. Chapter 3. The safe house was 2 hours north of the compound, buried deep in the Catskills where cell service died and civilization was a memory. A log cabin that looked rustic from outside but was reinforced with steel doors and bulletproof windows. The kind of place where people disappeared. Sophia sat on a worn leather couch, wrapped in a blanket someone had thrown over her shoulders. Her dress was torn. Her hands still shook. She couldn't stop seeing the man's neck in her grip. The way it had felt when it broke. Dante stood by the window, staring out at the dark woods. He hadn't spoken since they'd arrived. Luca and 2 other men were outside, securing the perimeter. The silence stretched until Sophia couldn't stand it anymore. Are you going to kill me now? She asked. Dante turned slowly. In the lamplight, his face looked carved from shadow. Should I? I lied to you. I mistranslated your meeting. Sophia's voice cracked. I came there to destroy you. Why? The question hung between them. Sophia pulled the blanket tighter. 5 years of secrets pressed against her throat. But she'd already killed for him tonight. Already shown him who she really was. There was no going back. My name is Sophia Russo, she said quietly. My father was Marco Russo. He worked for your family for 20 years. He was your father's consigliere, his most trusted advisor. And 5 years ago, someone put 3 bullets in his chest in a parking garage in Chicago and made it look like a random robbery. Dante went completely still. But it wasn't random, Sophia continued. The police never found the shooter. Never found a motive. My father had no enemies, or at least, that's what everyone said. But I knew better. I knew he'd been worried the weeks before he died. Taking calls at strange hours. Meeting people he wouldn't tell us about. She met Dante's eyes. He was afraid of something. Or someone. So you came looking for revenge. Dante's voice was flat. I came looking for the truth. Sophia stood, letting the blanket fall. I changed my name. Erased my past. Built a new identity so I could get close to the families without being recognized. I've spent 5 years learning everything I could about the 5 families of New York, about their business, their hierarchies. Waiting for a chance to find out what really happened to my father. And you think I killed him? It wasn't a question. I received a message, Sophia said. The night I saw you in that restaurant. Someone sent me a text, he killed your father. Make him pay. Dante's jaw tightened. Who sent it? I don't know. Unknown number. Untraceable. Sophia wrapped her arms around herself. But they knew who I really was. They knew where I'd be. They wanted me to see you kill that man so I'd believe you were capable of killing my father. I am capable. Dante moved closer. I've killed men, Sophia. More than I can count. I've ordered executions. I've done things that would make you sick. So yes, I'm capable of killing your father. But did you? The question fell between them like a blade. Dante stared at her for a long moment. Then he crossed to a cabinet, pulled out a bottle of whiskey, poured 2 glasses. He handed her one. Sit down, he said. This is going to take a while. Sophia sat. Dante took the chair across from her, the whiskey glass cradled in his hands. He looked tired suddenly. Ancient. Marco Russo was my father's best friend, he said quietly. They grew up together in Palermo. Came to America with nothing. Built an empire from blood and determination. My father trusted Marco with everything, his business, his secrets, his family. Dante took a drink. When my father died 3 years ago, Marco was the one who helped me take over. I was young. Too young, some said. But Marco stood beside me. Vouched for me to the old guard. Without him, I never would have survived those first months. Sophia's throat tightened. She'd heard stories about her father's loyalty. But hearing it from Dante made it real in a way that hurt. So what happened? She asked. My uncle happened. Dante's voice turned cold. Carmine Moretti. My father's younger brother. He believed the family should have gone to him, not me. That blood wasn't enough, I needed to prove myself worthy first. He started a quiet campaign to undermine me. Spreading rumors. Questioning my decisions. Turning soldiers against me. And my father? Marco saw what Carmine was doing. He tried to warn me, but I was arrogant. Thought I could handle it myself. Then one night, Marco called me. Said he'd found proof that Carmine was planning something big. A move against me. He said he had documents, recordings. He was going to bring them to me the next day. Dante's hands tightened around his glass. He never made it. Sophia's heart stopped. What are you saying? I'm saying your father was killed because of what he knew. Because he was loyal to me instead of my uncle. Dante's eyes met hers. And I'm saying Carmine staged it to look like I'd ordered the hit. He leaked information to the Chicago families that Marco was informing to the feds. That I'd found out and had him executed to protect myself. It was perfect. It removed Marco, discredited me with the old guard, and started whispers that I was paranoid and ruthless. Sophia felt like she couldn't breathe. You're lying. I wish I was. Dante stood, walked back to the cabinet. He pulled out a key, unlocked a drawer, and removed a worn leather journal. He brought it to Sophia. I've been investigating your father's death for 5 years. This is his journal. The one he kept hidden. I found it in his car the night he died. Carmine's men missed it when they cleaned the scene. Sophia took the journal with shaking hands. The leather was soft, worn. She opened it. Her father's handwriting filled the pages. Italian mixed with English, shorthand she recognized from childhood. Dates and names and notes about meetings. She found the last entry. 3 days before he died. CM meeting with Vitali family. Money moving offshore. Documents in safety deposit box, First National, Chicago, box 247. V, worried about D, says C, planning something big. Need to tell Dante before it's too late. Sophia's vision blurred. CM Carmine Moretti. Yes. NV. Vincent Calabria. One of Carmine's closest allies. He died 2 years ago. Heart attack, supposedly. Dante's voice was bitter. Very convenient timing. Sophia looked up at him. Why didn't you tell anyone? Why didn't you expose Carmine? With what evidence? A journal that could have been fabricated? Whispers and suspicions? Dante shook his head. Carmine covered his tracks perfectly. And he had allies, powerful allies who believed his version of events. If I'd accused him without proof, I would have started a civil war within my own family. Half my soldiers would have sided with him. We'd have destroyed ourselves from the inside. So you've just been waiting? For 5 years? I've been building a case. Carefully. Slowly. Gathering evidence. Turning his allies against him one by one. Dante's eyes were hard. And I've been protecting the people he might hurt next. Something in his tone made Sophia's stomach drop. What do you mean? Dante was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, my sister. Julia. She supposedly died 3 years ago. Car accident on the highway. Rainy night, lost control, went off a bridge. Her body was burned beyond recognition. We buried an empty casket. Supposedly. I never believed it. Julia was the best driver I knew. She'd grown up racing cars with our father. And the timing was too perfect, right when I was starting to seriously investigate Marco's death. Right when Carmine needed leverage. Sophia's pulse quickened. You think she's alive? I know she is. Dante pulled out his phone, showed her a photo. A young woman, early 20s, with dark hair and Dante's gray eyes. Beautiful and fierce. I've been searching for her for 3 years. Following every lead. Paying investigators. Hacking hospital records. Nothing. It was like she vanished. Until you. Dante's eyes met hers. That meeting today with the Calabrians? The real reason Carmine wanted it to fail? It wasn't about port access or territories. Don Caruso owes me a favor, a big one. I've been calling it in piece by piece, getting information about Carmine's secret holdings. Properties he owns under false names. Businesses he's buried under shell corporations. Sophia's mind raced. The phone calls I translated. Yes. During the meeting, Caruso mentioned several properties. I was listening carefully, but you were translating. And there was one call, a reference to a facility upstate. A private psychiatric hospital called Serenity Ridge. Sophia's blood went cold. I remember that call. He said something about monthly payments for long-term care. Carmine has been paying Serenity Ridge $100,000 a month for the past 3 years. Dante's voice was tight with controlled rage. For a patient listed under the name Maria Benedetti. When I tried to investigate, I hit walls everywhere. The facility is locked down. No visitors without pre-approval from the family. The staff won't talk. And the patient records are sealed. You think it's Julia? I know it's Julia. Dante's hands clenched into fists. Carmine is holding my sister in that place. Using her as leverage without me even knowing she's alive. And the treatments she's receiving? His voice cracked slightly. I've seen the medical supply orders. They're not treating her. They're torturing her. Keeping her drugged. Destroying her mind so that even if I find her, she won't be able to tell me what happened. Sophia felt sick. Why are you telling me this? Because you want Carmine dead as much as I do. Because you have skills I need, you speak the dialects, you understand the culture, and you're not connected to my organization, which means Carmine won't see you coming. Dante leaned forward. And because your father died protecting me. I owe Marco Russo a debt I can never repay. But maybe I can give his daughter justice. Sophia stared at him. At this man she'd thought was her enemy. Who'd turned out to be the only person who understood her pain. What do you want from me? She asked quietly. Help me find proof. Help me expose Carmine. Help me get my sister back. Dante's eyes burned into hers. And when it's done, when Carmine is dead and Julia is safe, I'll give you something in return. What? The name of the person who sent you that text. The one who told you I killed your father. Dante's smile was sharp. Because I know who it was. And I know why they wanted you to come after me. Sophia's heart stopped. How? Because there's only one person who knew both our identities. One person who could have tracked you down and sent you into that restaurant at the exact right moment. Dante stood. My uncle's son. My cousin. Nico Moretti. The name landed like a bomb. Nico was Carmine's inside man, Dante continued. The one who shut down the security cameras tonight. The one who's been feeding information to Carmine about my movements, my plans, my weaknesses. He's been working against me from the beginning. His jaw tightened. And he's been using you to do it. He sent you that text. He wanted you to kill me or die trying. Either way, he wins, I'm dead, or I'm exposed as the man who murdered Marco Russo's daughter. The old guard would turn on me completely. Sophia felt like the floor had dropped out from under her. He's been manipulating me. Yes. Using my father's death. Yes. Sophia stood slowly, rage building in her chest. Where is he? Probably with Carmine. They'll be planning their next move. Tonight was supposed to be the endgame. Kill me, blame it on internal dissent, and take over the family. Dante's smile was cold. But you saved my life. Which means we have time to turn this around. How? Dante walked to the window again, looking out at the darkness. Serenity Ridge is 2 hours from here. Heavily guarded. But there's a staff entrance that's less secure, deliveries, service workers. If we can get inside, if we can find Julia and get proof she's alive, we can destroy Carmine. His own men will turn on him when they learn he's been lying about her death. Holding her prisoner. The old guard respects nothing more than family. This will be unforgivable. And then? Sophia asked. Then we call a meeting. All the families. Present the evidence. Let them see what Carmine has done, to Julia, to your father, to the organization. Dante turned to face her. And we make him answer for it. Sophia thought about her father. About 5 years of grief and rage and questions. About the man who'd manipulated her, used her pain as a weapon. When do we leave? She asked. Dante's eyes gleamed. Tomorrow night. We'll need to plan carefully. Get the layout. Time the guards. He paused. But Sophia, you need to understand, this is dangerous. If Carmine finds out we're coming, he'll kill Julia rather than let us take her. We get one chance. One. Then we make it count. Dante crossed to her. Stood close enough that she could feel his heat. Why are you doing this? You could walk away right now. I'd let you go. You're not part of this family. This isn't your war. Sophia met his eyes. You said my father died protecting you. That his death has haunted you for 5 years. She lifted her chin. It's haunted me too. And I'm tired of running. Tired of hiding. Tired of pretending to be someone I'm not. Her voice strengthened. I'm Marco Russo's daughter. And it's time I acted like it. Something shifted in Dante's expression. Respect, maybe. Or recognition. Your father would be proud, he said quietly. Sophia's throat tightened. Don't. He talked about you. Before he died. Said you were brilliant. Fierce. That you'd gotten out, made something of yourself away from this life. Dante's hand lifted, almost touching her face, then dropped. He was right. If he was so proud, why didn't he tell me the truth? Why didn't he warn me what world he lived in? What dangers? Sophia's voice broke. Because he loved you. Dante's voice was rough. Because he wanted you to have choices he never had. Because every father wants his daughter to be safe, even if it means she can never fully know him. Tears burned Sophia's eyes. She blinked them back furiously. I would have understood. Would you? At 23? Fresh out of law school? Ready to save the world? Dante shook his head. You would have hated him. Or tried to save him. Either way, you would have been pulled into this life. And he'd already lost too much to it. What do you mean? Dante hesitated. Then, quietly, your mother. She didn't leave because of another man. She left because she found out what Marco really did. Who he really worked for. She gave him an ultimatum, the family business or her. He chose you. Chose to keep you safe by letting her take you away, by pretending to be a distant father who didn't care. Sophia felt like she'd been punched. You're lying. I'm not. Marco told me himself, one night when we both had too much to drink. He said losing you was the price of keeping you alive. That as long as you hated him, as long as you stayed away, Carmine and men like him could never use you against him. The tears came now, hot and unstoppable. Sophia sank back onto the couch, her face in her hands. Dante sat beside her. Not touching. Just present. I'm sorry, he said quietly. For your father. For the years you lost. For the truth you never got to hear. Sophia wiped her eyes roughly. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. Isn't it? If I'd been stronger, smarter, less arrogant, maybe I could have stopped Carmine sooner. Maybe Marco would still be alive. Or maybe we'd both be dead. Sophia looked at him. Really looked at him. At the exhaustion in his eyes. The weight on his shoulders. You've been fighting alone for 3 years. Yes. You don't have to anymore. Something flickered in Dante's expression. He reached out slowly, giving her time to pull away, and brushed a tear from her cheek. His fingers were warm, calloused. You're dangerous, Sophia Russo, he murmured. Good. She didn't move away from his touch. So are you. The air between them changed. Charged. Sophia knew she should pull back. Should put distance between herself and this man from the world that had destroyed her family. But he wasn't just that world anymore. He was also the man who'd mourned her father. Who'd been searching for his sister for 3 years. Who carried guilt and grief like she did. Who'd kept her alive when he should have killed her. This is a bad idea, Dante said, his voice low. His hands still on her face. Terrible, Sophia agreed. My men already question why I haven't killed you. If they knew I was, he stopped. What? His thumb traced her cheekbone. Becoming dangerously distracted. Sophia's breath caught. Distracted. Compromised. Dante's eyes dropped to her mouth. It's strategic suicide to want the daughter of a dead consigliere. To trust her. He broke off again, jaw tight. Sophia should have pulled away. Should have remembered who they were, what separated them. Instead, she leaned closer. The door banged open. They sprang apart. Luca stood in the doorway, blood on his shirt, phone in his hand. Boss, he said urgently. We have a problem. Dante was on his feet instantly. What? Carmine just called a meeting. Tomorrow afternoon. All the capo regimes. Says he has proof of your incompetence. Says it's time for new leadership. Luca's face was grim. He's making his move. Dante swore viciously. How many families? All 5. Plus the Calabrians. He's going for broke. Dante's mind was clearly racing. If he presents his case tomorrow and I'm not there to defend myself. They'll vote you out, Sophia finished. Or worse. Worse, Dante confirmed. He turned to Luca. Get everyone here. Everyone we trust. We move on Serenity Ridge tonight. We find Julia, we get proof, and we show up at that meeting with evidence that buries Carmine forever. Boss, that's suicide. We don't have time to plan. Then we improvise. Dante's eyes were steel. Call in every favor. Get me blueprints of that facility. Find me a way in. We have 8 hours. Luca stared at him. Then slowly nodded. Yes, boss. He left. Dante turned to Sophia. You should stay here. Where it's safe. This doesn't have to be your fight. Sophia stood. Like hell. You need me. Sophia. I translated those calls, remember? I know the facility name. I know the patient details. And I know how Carmine thinks because I've been studying him for 5 years. She crossed her arms. You're not leaving me behind. Dante looked at her for a long moment. Then, surprisingly, he smiled. Your father was right. You are fierce. And you're wasting time. Sophia moved toward the door. Come on. We have a sister to save and an uncle to destroy. In 8 hours. Then we'd better get started. Dante caught her arm as she passed. Pulled her back. His eyes searched hers. After this is done, he said quietly. After we've exposed Carmine and saved Julia. What happens to us? Sophia's heart hammered. I don't know. I need you to know something. Dante's grip tightened slightly. Whatever happens tonight, whatever comes next, I didn't kill your father. And I swear to you, I'll make the people who did pay for it. I know, Sophia whispered. And strangely, she did. She believed him. Good. Dante released her. Now let's go get my sister back. They had 8 hours. It was going to be enough. It had to be. If you're still listening to this story up to this point, why don't you subscribe to this channel to continue getting impactful daily stories like this? We would be most grateful if you can do that to help boost this video to reach everyone. Thank you. Chapter 4. The rescue of Giulia Moretti took 4 hours, 3 bribes, and 1 unconscious security guard. Sophia would never forget the moment they found her. A locked room on the 3rd floor of Serenity Ridge, windows barred, the smell of antiseptic and despair thick in the air. Julia had been curled on the bed, thin as a ghost, her dark hair matted, those gray eyes, so like Dante's, empty and distant. But when Sophia had whispered her brother's name, something had flickered. Recognition. Hope. Now, 12 hours later, Julia was safe in a private clinic with doctors Dante trusted. Sedated, monitored, beginning the long process of recovery. Sophia had stayed with her until dawn, holding her hand, promising her that Carmine would pay. She'd meant it. The safe house was chaos when Sophia returned. Men everywhere, soldiers, advisors, family members summoned in the night. Dante stood at the center of it all, issuing orders with the precision of a general. He saw Sophia and crossed to her immediately. How is she? His voice was rough with exhaustion and emotion. Alive. Damaged, but alive. Sophia touched his arm. Dante, the things they did to her. I know. His jaw was iron. I've seen the medical reports. Carmine will answer for every single day she spent in that place. Good. Sophia glanced around at all the men watching them. What's happening? War. Dante's smile was sharp and cold. Carmine called his meeting for 2 o'clock this afternoon. Every major family will be there. He's planning to present evidence of my incompetence and instability. Push for a vote of no confidence. Can he do that? He can try. Dante's hand found hers, squeezed. But we're going to stop him. We have Julia. We have proof he's been lying about her death. We have your father's journal. And we're going to walk into that meeting and destroy him. Sophia felt the weight of every eye in the room on their joined hands. They're all staring at us. I know. Dante didn't let go. Which brings me to our next move. The one that's going to seem insane. More insane than breaking into a psychiatric facility. Much more. Dante pulled her toward his office, away from the others. Inside, he closed the door and turned to face her. I need to ask you something. And I need you to think carefully before you answer. Sophia's pulse quickened. What? Marry me. The words hung in the air like a grenade. Sophia stared at him. What? Not for real. Not yet. Dante moved closer. An engagement. Public. Traditional. Announced at a family gathering tonight before the meeting tomorrow. You've lost your mind. Maybe. His eyes burned into hers. But it's the only play that works. In our world, an engagement isn't just personal. It's political. It's a declaration of alliance. And tradition dictates that once a woman is formally engaged to the Don, she's untouchable. Any attack on her is an attack on the entire bloodline. Sophia's mind raced. You want to use me as bait. I want to use you as armor. Dante's hands framed her face. Carmine's been trying to paint me as unstable, as unfit to lead. But if I announce an engagement to the daughter of Marco Russo, a man the old guard revered, I'm showing strength. Continuity. Connection to the traditional values they respect. And Carmine? He'll have to make his move tonight. During the party. Before the meeting tomorrow where we expose him. Dante's smile was predatory. He'll be forced to accelerate his timeline. Act rashly. Make mistakes. Sophia understood the strategy. It was brilliant and terrifying. What if he kills us both? He'll try. Dante's thumb stroked her cheeks. But we'll be ready. We'll have security everywhere. Guards we trust. And we'll be watching for his play. This is insane. Yes. I could die. Yes. So could you. Yes. Dante leaned closer. But if it works, we win everything. Carmine goes down. Julia is avenged. Your father gets justice. And we get to watch the man who destroyed both our families burn. Sophia stared into those winter gray eyes. The ones that had haunted her dreams since that night in the restaurant. The ones that belonged to a killer and a leader and somehow, impossibly, someone she was starting to trust. When? She asked. Tonight. 6 o'clock. I've already called the families. Told them I have an important announcement. That gives us 8 hours. Yes. To plan a fake engagement party while preparing to expose your uncle's treason and prevent him from murdering everyone in attendance. Yes. Sophia laughed. It came out slightly hysterical. My father would be so proud. Dante's expression softened. He would be. Sophia, I need you to understand, this isn't just strategy. Once we do this, once I announce you as my fiancé, there's no going back. The families will know who you are. Your old life, your anonymity, it's over. It was already over the moment I walked through that restaurant door. Still. I need you to be sure. Sophia thought about her apartment in Manhattan. Her carefully constructed identity as Jennifer Banks. The life she'd built away from blood and violence and family tradition. It had all been a lie anyway. A comfortable fiction she'd told herself while hunting for truth. I'm sure, she said. Dante searched her eyes for a long moment. Then he pulled a small box from his pocket. This was my grandmother's, he said quietly, opening it. The ring inside was breathtaking. An emerald surrounded by diamonds, set in platinum. Old world elegance and new world fire. Dante. It's traditional. The heir's ring passes to his fiancée. He took it out, held it up. And Sophia? Even though this is strategy, even though we're doing this to trap Carmine, I want you to know something. What? If this were real, if I were asking for real, you're the only woman I'd choose. His voice dropped. The only one who could stand beside me and not break. The only one fierce enough, smart enough, brave enough to be a Don's wife. Sophia's throat tightened. Don't. Don't what? Don't make this harder than it already is. She held out her hand. Just put the ring on. Let's win this war. Then we can figure out what's real and what's strategy. Dante slid the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly. Of course it did. The Moretti estate had been transformed in 8 hours. Sophia stood in a guest room, staring at herself in the mirror, and barely recognized the woman looking back. The dress had been her mother's. Somehow Dante's people had tracked it down, ivory silk, vintage cut, delicate lace at the shoulders. Her mother had worn it to her own engagement party 30 years ago, before she'd understood what marrying into the life really meant. Before she'd run. Sophia touched the fabric. Wondered if her mother had felt this same combination of terror and determination. A knock at the door. Come in, Sophia called. An older woman entered. Late 60s, elegant, with dark hair streaked with silver and eyes that were sharp as glass. She wore black, expensive, understated. Pearls at her throat. Sophia knew immediately who she was. Mrs. Moretti, she said quietly. Miss Russo. The woman's voice was cold. Yes, I know who you are. Did you think I wouldn't recognize Marco's daughter? You have his eyes. His chin. His defiance. Sophia lifted that chin. Then you know why I'm here. I know what my son told me. That you're helping him expose Carmine. That you saved his life. The woman moved closer. What I don't know is why I should believe you. Why I should trust a Russo in my home again. Again? Your father swore loyalty to this family. To my husband. And his loyalty got him killed. Mrs. Moretti's eyes glittered. Just as it will get my son killed if he continues this path. Carmine killed my father, Sophia said. Not Dante. Dante has been trying to avenge him for 5 years. And using his daughter as bait to do it. The woman's laugh was bitter. Do you know the old curse, Miss Russo? The one the nanas whisper about? No. Russo and Moretti blood should never mix. 3 times it's happened in our family's history. 3 times it's ended in blood and betrayal and death. Mrs. Moretti stepped closer. My son is announcing your engagement tonight. Making you part of this family. Tempting fate and the old curse both. I don't believe in curses. Neither did Marco. Look where it got him. The woman's voice softened slightly. I loved your father. He was a good man in a world that doesn't reward goodness. But he made choices that destroyed his family. Separated him from his daughter. Got him killed in a parking garage like a dog. She touched Sophia's face. Don't let my son's choices destroy you both the same way. Sophia felt tears burn. Then help us. Help us stop Carmine before he kills anyone else. Mrs. Moretti studied her for a long moment. Then, slowly, she reached up and removed her pearl necklace. These were my mother's. She wore them the day she married into this family. She told me they were for protection. For strength. She fastened them around Sophia's throat. If you're going to stand beside my son tonight, you'll need both. Thank you, Sophia whispered. Don't thank me yet. The woman turned to leave, then paused at the door. Sophia? My son has killed men for far less than what was done to your father. If he's keeping himself in check, if he's planning instead of raging, it's because of you. Don't mistake that for weakness. It's the most dangerous thing he could be. She left. Sophia touched the pearls at her throat. Wondered if they'd be enough. The party began at 6. The great hall of the Moretti estate blazed with light. Hundreds of guests, family members, allied families, business associates, politicians who pretended not to know what they were really attending. Waiters circulated with champagne and antipasti. A string quartet played classical music that couldn't quite mask the tension in the air. Everyone knew something was happening tonight. Something big. Sophia descended the stairs on Dante's arm. Every eye turned to watch. She felt their assessment. Their judgment. These were people who dealt in violence and tradition with equal measure. Who valued loyalty above all else. Who were watching their young Don present an unknown woman as his future wife. Dante's hand tightened on hers. "Breathe," he murmured. "You look like a queen. Act like one." Sophia lifted her chin and smiled. They worked the room together. Dante introducing her, Sophia charming and mysterious in equal measure. She spoke Italian, Sicilian, even Calabrian when necessary. Showed respect to the old guard. Deferred to tradition while maintaining her own strength. She saw the surprise in their eyes. The gradual acceptance. And she saw Carmine watching from across the room. Dante's uncle was a bear of a man. Thick-shouldered, gray-haired, with eyes like chips of ice. He stood surrounded by his own people, his son Nico, several capo regimes loyal to him, families who believed his version of events. He raised his glass to Dante. Smiled. It was the smile of a predator. "He knows," Sophia murmured. "Of course he knows." Dante's arm slid around her waist. "That's the point." At 7, Dante called for silence. The crowd gathered. Sophia stood beside him, her hand in his, the emerald ring catching the light. "Thank you all for coming," Dante said, his voice carrying through the hall. "I've called you here tonight to share news that brings me great joy. To announce a union that honors both the future and the past of this family." He turned to Sophia. In that moment, with all eyes on them, something shifted in his expression. Something real beneath the performance. "Sophia Russo," he said quietly. "Daughter of Marco Russo, who served this family with loyalty and courage until the day he died. Tonight, I ask this family to witness our engagement. To accept her as my future wife. To give her the protection and respect that comes with our name." Silence. Then, slowly, someone began to clap. Then another. Then the whole room erupted in applause. All except Carmine's section. They stood quiet. Watchful. Mrs. Moretti stepped forward. She carried a small cushion with a gold chain. "This is the Moretti bride's blessing," she announced. "Worn by every woman who has joined this family for 5 generations." She fastened it around Sophia's neck. The room erupted in cheers. Dante pulled Sophia close, kissed her forehead. To the room, it looked like affection. But Sophia felt him tense. Felt his whisper against her skin, "He's moving." Guards just reported movement on the south perimeter. Sophia's pulse spiked. "How many?" "Unknown. But it's happening." Dante pulled back, smiled for the crowd. Then, voice low, "Luca will get you out the back. Go to Julia. Get her somewhere safe. I'll handle Carmine." "No." Sophia gripped his arm. "We split up, we die. That's what he wants." "Sophia. Listen to me." She kept her smile fixed. "I found something today. When I was at Serenity Ridge. In Julia's room." "What?" "Blueprints. Hidden under her mattress. Of this estate." Sophia's fingers tightened. "Dante, there are explosives. Carmine has planted them throughout the house. The great hall. The wine cellar. The library. He's planning to kill everyone. All the families. Every witness. And blame it on a rival attack." Dante's face went white. "Jesus Christ. We have to evacuate. Now. If we do that, he'll detonate early. Kill whoever he can and run. Dante's mind was racing. We need to find the devices. Disarm them. And we need to do it without Carmine knowing we know. How? Dante's eyes swept the room. Landed on his uncle. On Nico standing beside him, phone in hand. We give him a different target, Dante said slowly. Something so important that he has to make his move personally instead of hiding behind explosives. What target? Julia. Dante turned to her. We announce that we found her. That she's alive. That she's here, ready to testify against him. He'll have to come for her himself, he can't risk her talking. But she's not here. She's at the clinic. He doesn't know that. Dante pulled out his phone, sent a text. I'm going to announce it. Draw him out. While he's focused on getting to Julia, you find the explosives and disarm them. I don't know how to disarm bombs. You're a corporate lawyer who speaks 6 dialects and killed a man with your bare hands. Dante's smile was fierce. You'll figure it out. Before Sophia could argue, Dante strode to the center of the room. Raised his hand for silence. I have one more announcement tonight, he called out. One that will shock many of you. 3 years ago, this family suffered a terrible loss. My sister, Julia, was killed in a car accident. We mourned her. Buried her. Accepted her death. The room was silent. Confused. But we were lied to, Dante continued, his voice hardening. Julia didn't die. She was taken. Hidden. Held prisoner in a psychiatric facility for 3 years while we believed her dead. Gasps. Murmurs. Shock rippling through the crowd. Carmine stood frozen. His face expressionless. Tonight, I'm announcing that my sister has been found, Dante said. That she's alive. And that she's here, ready to tell us exactly who took her and why. The room exploded. Sophia saw Carmine's mask slip. Saw pure rage flash across his face. Saw Nico pull out his phone, fingers flying. Now, Dante mouthed to her. Sophia moved. She slipped through the crowd, heading for the service corridors. Behind her, she heard Carmine's voice rise. This is insanity. Dante has lost his mind. The girl is dead, this is a desperate ploy. Sophia didn't wait to hear more. She ran down the corridor, pulled out the blueprints she'd memorized. The Great Hall device was in the lighting system. The libraries was behind the bookshelf. The wine cellars was. Someone grabbed her arm. Sophia spun, ready to fight. Luca stood there, eyes wide. Miss Russo, you need to come with me. Now. I can't. The explosives. I know. Boss told me. Luca pulled her toward the wine cellar. I'm former EOD. Explosive ordnance disposal. I can disarm them. But I need your help. They ran together. The wine cellar was dark, cool. Luca pulled out a flashlight, swept it across the walls. There. Behind the Italian Reds. Sophia helped him move bottles. Behind them, a small device. Wires. A digital timer counting down. 20 minutes. Can you stop it? Sophia asked. Yes. But Sophia, Luca looked at her. There's something you need to know. About Marco. About why he was really killed. Sophia's blood went cold. What? He didn't just discover Carmine's plans. He discovered something else. Something that got him killed even faster. Luca's hands worked on the device as he spoke. Dante's father had an affair. Years ago. With someone from a rival family. And there was a child. A son. What? An illegitimate heir. Someone with a blood claim to the Moretti family. Someone Carmine has been protecting. Using. Luca's voice was tight. Marco found out. Was going to tell Dante. And Carmine had him killed to protect the secret. Sophia felt like the ground was falling away. Who? Who is the son? Luca met her eyes. I don't know. But he's here. Tonight. And I think. The explosion cut him off. Not from the wine cellar. From above. The great hall. Sophia and Luca ran. Up the stairs. Down the corridor. Smoke everywhere. Screaming. Chaos. They burst into the hall. The chandelier had fallen. Glass and crystal everywhere. People running, bleeding, crying. The string quartet's instruments smashed. Tables overturned. And in the center of it all stood Dante. Facing his uncle. Both had guns drawn. It's over, Carmine, Dante said, his voice deadly calm despite the chaos. Julia is safe. The families have seen your explosives. They know what you planned. Do they? Carmine smiled. Or do they see a desperate young Don, throwing wild accusations, trying to hold on to power? We have proof. Hospital records. Financial trails. Testimony. From a girl who's been in a psychiatric facility for 3 years? Who's been drugged and tortured? Carmine laughed. No one will believe her. They'll think you manipulated her. Coached her. Used her to take me down. Then we'll let the families decide. Dante's gun never wavered. A vote. Right here. Right now. Do they believe me or you? Carmine's smile widened. You really think you'll win that vote? When half these families are already loyal to me? When they see you've brought Marco Russo's daughter into the family, the same Marco who was supposedly a traitor? Marco was loyal until the day you killed him. Loyal? Carmine's laugh was ugly. Marco was a fool. He found out about the bastard's son and thought he could use it against me. Thought he could leverage it for power. He was wrong. What son? Dante demanded. What are you talking about? Your father's shame. The boy he had with Vittoria Calabria. The heir who has a better claim to this family than you ever did. Carmine's eyes gleamed. And he's here. Now. Waiting for his moment. Sophia's mind raced. Vittoria Calabria. The Calabrian family. The meeting that morning. The way Don Caruso had looked at Dante. The way. Luca, she breathed. She turned. Luca stood behind her. Gun in hand. Pointed at her head. I'm sorry, Sophia, he said quietly. I really am. Your father was a good man. But he got in the way of my birthright. Everything clicked into place. Luca. Always at Dante's side. Always trusted. Always there. The perfect spy. You? Dante's voice was broken. Luca, you're your brother, Luca finished. Half-brother. And the rightful heir to this family. He pulled a detonator from his pocket. Now, everyone put down their guns. Or I blow this building and everyone in it to hell. The room froze. Sophia looked at the detonator. At Luca's finger on the trigger. At the explosives still hidden throughout the estate. She thought about her father's journal. About 5 years of hunting for truth. About Dante's sister, damaged but alive. About all the people in this room who were about to die because of secrets and blood and pride. She made her choice. Sophia grabbed Luca's wrist. Twisted hard. His finger hit the detonator button. And nothing happened. Luca's eyes went wide. What? EOD training, Sophia said quietly. You said you had it. But I spent the last 20 minutes disarming every device in this estate. Including the fail-safes. She'd lied. Gambled. Trusted that Luca would hesitate just long enough. Luca raised his gun. Dante fired. The shot echoed through the hall. Luca crumpled. Carmine moved, bringing his own gun up, aiming at Dante. Sophia didn't think. She dove. Knocked Dante sideways. The bullet meant for his head caught her shoulder instead. Pain exploded. She hit the ground hard. Then everything was noise and chaos. More gunfire. Men loyal to Carmine drawing weapons. Men loyal to Dante returning fire. The family scattering. Mrs. Moretti screaming. Sophia's vision swam. Through the smoke and blood, she saw Dante. Saw him standing over his uncle. Gun pressed to Carmine's head. Give me one reason, Dante said, his voice arctic. One reason not to end you right here. Carmine smiled. Blood on his teeth. Because I'm family. Because the old guard will never forgive you for killing Blood. Because. Dante pulled the trigger. The shot silenced everything. In the sudden quiet, Dante stood over his uncle's body. Looked at the families frozen around him. At the men who'd been loyal to Carmine now backing away. Anyone else question my leadership? Dante asked softly. Silence. Then, slowly, one by one, the men knelt. A sign of respect. Of submission. Dante had one. Sophia tried to push herself up. Failed. The pain was too much. Blood soaked her dress, her mother's dress. The emerald ring on her finger was slick with it. Dante was there in an instant. Sophia. Sophia, stay with me. Did we win? She whispered. Yes. We won. But you're hurt, his hands pressed against her shoulder. Medic. I need a medic now. The journal, Sophia managed. My father's journal. It's in the wine cellar. Behind the 1987 Brunello. All the proof. All the names. I'll get it. But first. And Julia. Someone needs to check on Julia. Make sure. Sophia, stop. Stop talking. Save your strength. Can't. Sophia's laugh came out weak. Have to make sure you know. Where all the bodies are buried. Dante's face was anguished. Don't. Don't you dare. Including yours. She touched his face. Your father's affair. The bastard son. Luca. All of it. I'm the only one who knows the full truth. Then you have to stay alive to tell it. Maybe. Sophia's vision was dimming. Or maybe this is the curse. Russo and Moretti blood mixing. Ending in. No. Dante's voice cracked. No, I don't accept that. You don't get to save my life and then die. That's not how this works. Not really up to me. Sophia felt cold. So cold. Dante? If I don't make it. You're making it. If I don't, tell my mother. Tell her I understood. Why my father did what he did. Why he chose this life. Why he thought it was worth it. Tell her yourself. Dante lifted her. Because you're not dying tonight. I won't let you. Medics swarmed. Sophia felt herself being lifted, moved. Heard Dante's voice giving orders. Felt the warmth of his hand holding hers. The last thing she saw before darkness took her was his face. Those winter-gray eyes that had started this whole thing. And she thought, worth it. Sophia woke to white walls and the smell of antiseptic. Hospital. She was in a hospital. She tried to move. Pain flared through her shoulder. Don't. Dante's voice. He appeared beside her bed, looking like he hadn't slept in days. You were shot. Surgery. The bullet went through clean, but you lost a lot of blood. How long? Sophia's voice was rough. 2 days. Dante took her hand carefully. You scared the hell out of me. Your uncle? Dead. Luca too. Most of Carmine's loyalists have surrendered or run. The families have accepted my leadership. Dante's smile was tired. We won. Julia? Recovering. Slowly. But she's going to make it. Dante's thumb stroked over Sophia's knuckles. Because of you. You saved us both. Sophia looked down at their joined hands. The emerald ring was still there. Cleaned of blood. Catching the light. So, she said quietly. What happens now? Dante was silent for a long moment. Then he said, that depends. On what you want. What I want? Before the party, I offered you a choice. Walk away and be protected forever. Or stay and be mine. Dante's eyes met hers. I'm offering it again. The war is over. Carmine is dead. You've avenged your father. You can leave. Go back to your old life. I'll make sure you're safe. That no one ever touches you. And if I stay? Then you're the Don's wife. With all the blood and darkness that means. You'll be part of this world. Forever. No going back. No escape. Dante's voice dropped. And Sophia? If you stay, it won't be fake anymore. It won't be strategy. It'll be real. Sophia's heart hammered. She thought about her father. About Marco Russo, who'd loved this life and died for it. Who'd kept his daughter away to protect her. Who'd never gotten to tell her the truth. She thought about the curse. About Russo and Moretti blood mixing. About 3 times it had happened and 3 times it had ended in blood. But maybe 4th time was the charm. I can't leave, Sophia said finally. Why not? She smiled. Lifted their joined hands. Because I'm the only one who knows where all the bodies are buried. Including yours. Dante's laugh was surprised. Relieved. Is that the only reason? No. Sophia pulled him closer. Ignored the pain in her shoulder. I'm also the only one brave enough to stand beside you. Smart enough to challenge you. And crazy enough to love you despite everything you are. Dante's breath caught. Love? Don't make me say it again. I'm on painkillers. He kissed her. Soft and careful and full of promise. When he pulled back, his eyes were fierce. The families will expect a wedding. A real one. Soon. How soon? A month. Maybe less. Tradition dictates. I don't care about tradition. Sophia touched his face. I care about you. And Julia. And making sure Carmine's allies never rise again. And figuring out how to be Sophia Russo and Sophia Moretti at the same time. You'll figure it out. Dante's smile was soft. You're fierce like that. I learned from the best. Sophia's eyes drifted to the window. To the cityscape beyond. To the world she'd sworn to escape and ended up conquering instead. My father would be proud. He would be. Dante settled beside her on the bed, careful of her injury. And terrified. Mostly terrified. Good. Sophia leaned against him. Now tell me everything. Every detail of what happened after I passed out. And don't leave anything out. Why? Because I'm the Don's wife now. I need to know where all the bodies are buried. Dante laughed. Pressed a kiss to her hair. All of them? Every single one. Sophia closed her eyes. Starting with yours. Outside, the city blazed with light. Inside, two people who'd found each other in blood and violence and vengeance held tight. The war was over. The real game was just beginning. And Sophia Russo Moretti was ready to play. The end. Epilogue. 1 month later. The wedding was small. Family only. The real families, not the criminal empire kind, but the blood kind. Sophia wore her mother's dress again. Cleaned and repaired. Mrs. Moretti's pearls at her throat. Her father's journal and her bouquet, hidden beneath white roses. Dante stood at the altar in a black suit that probably cost more than most people's cars. But when he looked at her, none of that mattered. Just him. Just her. Just the choice they'd both made. Julia sat in the front row, thin but healing. She smiled at Sophia. A real smile. The first one since her rescue. Worth it, Sophia thought. All of it. When the priest asked if she took Dante as her husband, Sophia looked at the man who'd killed for her, protected her, loved her despite everything. I do, she said. And meant it. Later, at the reception, Mrs. Moretti pulled Sophia aside. The curse, Sophia said. 3 times Russo and Moretti blood mixed. 3 times it ended badly. Yes. What happened the 4th time? Mrs. Moretti smiled. Touched Sophia's face. No one knows. There's never been a 4th time. Until now. Until now. The older woman's eyes were warm. So I suppose we'll find out together. If 4th time is the charm. Or if history repeats. Sophia looked across the room at Dante. At her husband. At the man who'd become her partner in every sense. History doesn't repeat, she said quietly. It rhymes. And I'm planning to write a new verse. Mrs. Moretti laughed. Marco's daughter indeed. That night, in their bedroom in the estate that was now hers too, Dante held Sophia close. Any regrets? He asked. Hundreds. Sophia smiled against his chest. But not about you. Good. Dante's arms tightened. Because now you can't leave. You know too much. All my secrets. All my sins. All the places where the bodies are buried. Including yours, Sophia agreed. Including mine. They fell asleep tangled together. 2 people from different worlds who'd found each other in the worst possible way and chosen each other anyway. The curse was broken. Or just beginning. Only time would tell. But Sophia Russo Moretti was ready for either. She'd been training for this her whole life. She just hadn't known it until now. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and like this video to continue listening to this type of story daily and also, to appreciate this community too. I would like to know the country in which you are in, listening to this story. Which country is that? Please comment below.